As a woman, you got to be really careful about how you try and reject a dude because you just never know how that guy's going to react.
This is true. And I think as a man, you know it, you hear about it, but it hits a little different when it hits close to home. And me, I'm a guy who has three younger sisters. So this story kind of resonated with me because they're still at that age in life where they go out a lot. They probably have drinks. They want to enjoy themselves.
What are they, like 22, 23-ish?
Early 20s.
Okay.
Yep, all in their early 20s. And so I have a really, really good friend. We've been like really close friends for years since we were in high school. And she's a very attractive woman. She models for a living. That's what she does. And she goes out a lot. And she's always at these places a lot. And she calls me on Sunday morning and tells me that she's in the hospital. So I'm like, what happened? What's going on? And it turns out she was out with her friends, which is a normal occurrence for her. And there was a particular guy at the place that she was at who kept making passes at her and kept making advances at her. And she was constantly telling this guy no. And me, I grew up in New York. New York is a very aggressive place. I've seen this firsthand a lot of times. A lot of guys just simply don't know how to take no for an answer. And it's unfortunate because it puts a lot of, it basically gives men a really bad name and a really bad look. And in this case, I've seen it go far. I'm sure there are probably a lot of women who have a lot of stories that are close to this. But I've never seen
when a guy just loses it in the bar?
Right. He just won't take no. Yeah. And he just continues to get more aggressive as the night goes on. And that's apparently what happened to her, is that she made it very clear she wasn't interested in this guy. As the night went on, every time she would see him, he would continue to try. And he would try again and again, to the point where she got so uncomfortable with it that she decided to leave. And this is like a big place, like a big lounge. So it's not like it's small quarters. I mean, you're clearly going out of your way to continue to harass her on purpose. And so apparently she got so uncomfortable that she decided to leave. She told her and her few homegirls, let's just leave. Let's just get out of here.
Not worth it, man.
It's not worth it. You don't want to deal with this.
She's following around the bar, just peppering her, no after no after no. She's like, no, thank you, no, thank you, no, thank you.
Yep. Like, okay. or like, well, you got a guy. Why can't you have friends? That kind of thing. We just want to be friends. And so she ends up leaving. And on her way out, they're walking to go to their car, and they actually see him getting in his car. So he's now pulling off, and as he's pulling off, he's like yelling things at them, but they're walking away, trying to ignore him. And he, I guess, in an attempt to get as close to them as he possibly could, because he had a really nice car. So I guess this was like his way of, look what you missed, look what you turned down. This was his moment to kind of have some bravado. He actually ran over her foot.
Oh.
He ran over her foot, and I don't know if he was purposely trying to hit her. It doesn't really matter. Either way, obviously, he was out of line, and he runs over her foot, breaks her foot in 5 different places, and she now has to get foot surgery.
Damn.
So
they get a license plate and all that?
The girls did.
Okay.
The girls did. They did get a license plate, so they are looking for the guy.
So he took off?
He took off.
It's a hit and run?
Yeah, he took off. He broke her foot. Obviously, her girl, the good thing was the 2 girls that was with her, one tended to her, the other one was able to get the license plate. Guy just zooms off. And I mean, she calls me, and I'm up late, like talking to her about this. And it was like, I was just so heartbroken, like as a man, because this is like one of my best friends. This is someone that I've always protected when I could. And again, like with me having sisters and thinking of these things, and I know women go through these things, but like for it to go to this level, and then she even tweeted about it, and it became like a viral tweet. Like a lot of people picked up on it and talked about it, and I saw, like, I was reading it. I was reading the threads because she's close to me, and I wanted to see what people were saying. And of course, there was a lot of encouragement, but there was so many women that was like not surprised by this at all. It was like, this is what happens. This is what we go through. And then a lot of other women were sharing some of their horror stories. And like I said, as a man, I always knew it was bad, but I never realized it was this bad. And physically, she'll be fine, but like mentally,
yeah, you wonder, like,
will she ever really be the same? Because obviously, right now, she's really broken up, and I don't know what to say to her. Honestly, I mean, I'm there for her. I listen to her, but it's like I can't imagine what it feels like to just not be able to just go out and just have some drinks with your friends, and something like that happens, and now you got to worry about this all of the time.
Well, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, sounds like, if you're a woman, because if you're nervous about it and you take the drink from the guy and then you're not interested, now all of a sudden in some dudes' minds, they think you're obligated. I bought your drink. Now you're supposed to hang out with me. But if you're politely trying to reject him, you're screwed also. So I don't know what the answer is, man.
I don't either. And I talk to my sisters about this often. Like, I try to give them advice and ways to carry themselves when they go out and when they are in these environments. But it's like, I feel like I'm trying to teach them to, like, not want attention and to tone it down and almost like, don't be so beautiful. You know what I mean? And I find myself telling my sisters this, and I'm like, that's not right. Like, I shouldn't have to tell them that. And it puts me in this situation as a man where I'm just like, wow, I don't know what to say.
1-855-BERT Show. Unfortunately, these calls are not going to help your attitude at all. Kenzie, good morning. You were on the Bert Show. Hi.
Good morning.
Morning. You relate to this, huh?
Yes. My story is a little different because it happened really quickly. But I was outside of a bar in Buckhead, and a guy was hitting on me, and I was just trying to politely walk away, and he started getting in my face and wouldn't let me walk away. So I kind of shoved him out of the way, and I was walking away, and he followed me and came behind me and put both hands on my back and shoved me to the ground, and I actually fractured my elbow. I had to have reconstructive surgery. And no one did anything. There was actually a policeman there, and no one did anything about it. He just walked away.
Yeah, I don't know what that's awful. I don't know what the lesson is here. I mean, for every guy like that, I want to believe there are 1,000 that wouldn't handle it that way, but you hear one story like that and you just don't know, yeah?
The only way we can counteract this kind of behavior is by talking about it. This is what happened with the Me Too movement. Somebody was like, this happened to me, and then all women were like, this has happened to me.
Yeah.
And it just kept getting worse and worse. Like, we can't say no and we can't say stop and be respected. And then you're trying to talk to your sisters about, don't be so beautiful. And there's nothing you can do. You can't change women. Like, the problem is men when we talk about this. The problem is toxic masculinity. And it's not all men. It's not all men. Let me repeat that for the people in the back that are about to flip out on Twitter. It is not all men, but there are some that are tweaked just right, and they don't respect no, they don't respect stop because they don't respect women. At a ground floor level, they do not respect women. And we can't change our sisters and our aunts and our moms. It's men that need this spoken to. Men need to start standing up for other men. If there's a guy taking pictures up a skirt on the MARTA or the subway, then you need to move that woman. Say, excuse me, let me stand here. You take my seat because there's a guy taking pictures up your skirt. Men need to be aware that these things are happening, not ignore it and counteract these things when they happen. Because all women, almost all women, I myself, we've been held down. And I'm saying, no, I don't want to do this. I've had my arms restricted and I've been held down. So I think a lot of women have gone through this, and to get to the point where it's like violent is just jarring, and she's never going to be the same. And I'm not trying to be negative about that. It's just she's going to spend so much time today and for the next few weeks feeling guilty. I should have left earlier. I should have been more forward with my no. I should have been louder. I should have been fiercer. If only I wasn't this like small woman. She's going to be beating herself up. So just make sure that you're a really good friend that's there for her in this time.
I remember Tiffany coming home, my girlfriend coming home one night after a night out with some girls. Now, this one wasn't physical, but she's walking down the street. It's like 1 a.m. There are like 3 guys, right? And one guy goes, excuse me, are you from here? Sounds nice enough. Excuse me, are you from here? I'm not from here. And I don't know how to get to blank bar, right? So, and he's holding his phone, like he looks like he's got his Google Maps out. So he's asking for some guidance how to get to this bar. She's like, yeah, I'll help you out. Grabs his phone, and it's a D picture right there on it. And all the guys start giggling about it. Hilarious. And then they walk away, you know?
And that's what infuriates me, man. Like I said, being a guy who has 3 sisters, and I was pretty much raised by a village of women, my perspective is different. So I hate that I have to go on Twitter, and that's pretty much what 80% of the comments were from women saying, this is why I hate men. This is why all men suck. And, and I hate to see it, because obviously we know it's not all men, but the few men that it is, it just makes us all look bad, and it's just a ridiculous thing that I feel like women should never have to go through. I hate it.
The Bert Show.